Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to worship here at the United Church of Gainesville, where we proudly say no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, welcome home on this homecoming weekend. I'm glad you all made it to be together. This is the first Sunday in our sanctuary of our new worship theme, Get Out the Map, and a huge thank you to our Lively Arts Committee for our new worship installation. Thank you for bringing Get Out the Map to life around us. There are so many things happening in the life of our church, and I'd like to highlight a few for you now. First, you may have noticed all of the beauty on the west side of campus. Our Lively Arts art showcase is happening today. And so in between the services, or if you're on the camera, this goes until 12:30. So come on down and see amazing art available for viewing and also for sale from our UCG artists, and 20% of all funds raised today will go to Food for Kids. So enjoy and give back. And on the way across the courtyard, you'll see some chart paper over here in front of Seminar B. If you remember back to our last congregational meeting, we voted to begin a process of discernment around becoming a creation care, climate justice church. And the first questions that are posed by Andy are out there on that chart paper. Feel free to stop by and jot down some thoughts. Many things that were going to happen last week have been rescheduled, and you will find those in your bulletin. But wanted to remind those teens in the Our Whole Lives program, we are meeting today at 2 and youth group at 5:30 tonight. We are gearing up for our next Family Promise hosting beginning October 16th. And so please do, also there are so many things to do in our courtyard today. Please stop by the Family Promise table and sign up to help with this mission. The annual United Church of Christ Neighbors in Need offering is being held today. Feel free to place a contribution in the offering plate with a note in the memo line or online or in any way that you give to the church. And this year, the offering focuses on economic justice. So any gifts you give goes directly to that mission. There are, the Racial Justice Committee has 2 invitations for you in your bulletin, both the upcoming celebration of the banned bookshelf and also the opportunity to travel to the Legacy Museum and Monument for Peace and Justice in Montgomery coming in November. You can sign up for that and get more information in Seminar B, which is the one on this side, just outside and to the left after church. And finally, our fall congregational meeting will be next Sunday, October 16th. We will have one service at this time, 9:15, followed by the congregational meeting, followed by an all-church gathering with ice cream and delights in the courtyard. So please come and be a part of this important day in the life of our church. And now, let us take a deep breath as we center ourselves in this place of sanctuary. I will ring the bell, and then Philip will call us to worship with our prelude. Will you rise in body, spirit, and hopefully both, and join me in this morning's call to worship? In this, our spiritual home, may all find welcome and safety. Within our sacred selves, may we find presence and peace. Within this sacred hour, may we remember that we are beloved. Will you turn now in your UCG songbook to number 13 and sing with me, Do Lord. And now I'd like to invite all who would like to join me for the time with children in our story time to come forward. And while they do, I think it's important to recognize when something comes out of your mouth that wasn't quite as you intended. When I said hopefully both, however your body rises is welcome here. I did not intend to say hopefully we all can stand, for certainly we all rise in our own way and always are welcome. Screen. All right. Good morning, friends. Good to see you here. Did any of you celebrate homecoming this week? Did you go to the parade or the game or anything?
We went for a few minutes.
You went for a little bit? Yeah. Well, today's story is sort of about coming home. It's about searching for home. It's about a slug and a snail. I'm glad you love it. All right, you can look up there and see the pictures, or I can show them to you here. Here we go. Hello, my new friend. How do you do? My name is Snail, and who are you? My name is Slug. How do you do? I seem to look a bit like you. Whoa, what is that thing? It looks like a lump. I'm slimy and slim and don't have a bump. It's called a shell. It's my home, you see. I bring it everywhere. It's a part of me. I wish I had a tiny dome to keep me safe and call my home. Slug wants a home that's safe and sound, a place that he too can carry around. So the two friends travel far and near, across land and water, for almost a year,
Do you see what's up in the sky? Do you see that? The moon changing to show that time is passing. Yeah, you're so observant. All right. What's next? Let's see. They come upon an orange bird's nest. It's made of twigs. Finch thinks it's the best. The nest is so big, it's too big for Slug. They travel some more to find something more snug. They spot a web. It's a wonder to see. It's Spider's home. She has caught a bee. A web's not a shell, so they continue along. They search for a home where Slug can belong. Prairie Dog perches on a big dirt mound, protecting the home that he's dug underground. Who's down there, do you think? What do you think? Is that family? Is that friends? What do you think? Maybe both? Yeah? Yeah, all right, yeah. Okay. Maybe friends? I think so. All right, let's see. After a while, Tortoise walks by. He has his own home. Slug lets out a sigh. Look at that shell, but it's much too large. They travel again, but this time on a barge. Beaver is building a lodge for her home, but it's not Slug's style, so they continue to roam. They see empty shells along the shore. They slide off their barge and begin to explore. Snail sees something strange poking out from a shell. Slug starts to giggle. It's where a hermit crab dwells. An empty shell is a nice place to be, warm and protected. It has been for me. The two friends stop to rest near flowers that they sit underneath as the day turns to showers. Slug starts to wonder. He hasn't a clue. If he can't find a home, well, then what will he do? After the rainstorm, a rainbow shines through with red, orange, yellow, green, and some blue. Butterfly suddenly zooms overhead, not carrying a home or carting a bed. Maybe I don't need a shell, nest, or bed. Home is inside my heart and my head. Under a beautiful star-spangled night, Earth is Slug's home. He is filled with delight. What does a home give you? What does a home provide for you? What do you think, Mikey? Shelter, a roof. I think, Finn? Food and water are in your home. Yeah, what else? Yeah. Storage. Fair enough. We got a story of stuff with our lifestyle, don't we? Yeah, Finn, what else? What is it? Oxygen. All right. Yeah, okay, safe air to breathe in our homes. That's super important. Yeah. What feeling do all those things give you? If you're going to put a feeling on it. Mike, you got an idea? Comfort. Any other feelings? Feeling words? You got another one? Safety. Safety. Yes. It is so important to have a safe place to be, to rest, to have food, to have comfort, to have love. Safety is so important. But in this book, Slug learns about a different kind of home, right? Yeah, a little bit different. How does Slug feel at the end of the story? Lighter? Delighted. You were listening really well, Koa. Yeah, he does say he's filled with delight. He's delighted. When we are calm and at peace, we can say, or delighted, we can say we feel safe in our bodies. Maybe when you feel those good, warm, safe feelings, we feel safe in our bodies. Did Slug go all by themselves on this journey? No. Who was with him? Snail, right? Snail. How do you think Slug feels about Snail? What would Slug say? This is Snail, your friend, your thumbs up person. Yeah. A safe person. When we feel anxious or afraid or uncertain, it is so important to have those safe people in our lives that can be with us until we're feeling better, right? Yeah. So snail stays with slug until he's feeling safe and calm and delighted, right? In church, we call that being present with someone. And it's called that because it's a gift. It's a gift you give someone to be present with them. So it's good to feel safe and calm and happy in our bodies, but when we don't, we can ask for help from all of those safe people in our lives, those people that make us feel safe and loved. And another technique that we're, spoiler alert, going to practice as grown-ups a little bit later, is a way to help us feel calm and safe in our bodies, and that's by breathing. And one way we can do that is something that's called a breath prayer. And that means when we breathe in, we think one thing, and when we breathe out, we think something else. Think we can try it? You want to try it? So while we breathe in through our nose, I want you to think, I am loved. And when you breathe out through your mouth, I want you to think, I am safe. Can we try it? You willing to try? Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's try the experience. So in through our nose, I am loved. Out through our mouth, I am safe. Let's do it 3 times in a row, and maybe we can invite the grown-ups to do it with us. What do you think? All right, let's do it 3 times in a row. So in through our nose, I am loved. Out, I am safe. I am loved. Out, I am safe. In through our nose, I am loved. Out, I am safe. How do you feel? Thumbs up? Thumbs up is the best thing I could see. A thumbs up. I hope you all know that you are loved and you are surrounded by people who love you and want to keep you safe. So I'm going to ask here, let's see. Will you bring this over to United Tribes? I think you're going to talk a little bit more about what it means to feel at home in tribes today, and you might want the book with you. I want you all to have a wonderful time together in your church home. Have a great time in tribes. What about birthdays? What would I do without you? What would I do without you? My goodness, what about birthdays? That is important, and that's part of how we make each other feel loved. Do we have any birthdays up here this week on the stairs? Anybody's birthday this week? You wish? Yeah, I get that feeling. I totally get that feeling. All right, how about on this side of the church? Any birthdays in the room this week or today? No? How about over here? Hooray! All right, can anyone play Happy Birthday so we can sing to Philip? All right, I guess you need to accompany your own birthday celebration. Let us all sing for our dear Philip. Let's sing for Philip. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Philip. Happy birthday to you. Amen. Thank you. All right, what do you think? Are you ready now? All right, have an amazing time in tribes. I see your leaders waiting for you out there.
Good morning. Our first reading for the day comes from Maya Angelou. The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. We may act sophisticated and worldly, but I believe we feel safest when we go inside ourselves and find home. A place where we belong, and maybe the only place we really do. I long, as does every human being, to be at home wherever I find myself.
The screen up while you sit.
Traveling at night, the headlights were bright, and we'd been up many an hour, and all through my brain came the refrain of home and its warm and fire. And home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings to fly over the mountain. Though I'm standing still, the people I've seen, they come in between the cities of tiring life. Well, the trains come and go, but inside, you know, the struggle will soon be a fight. But home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings to fly over the mountain. Though I'm standing still. Traveling at night, the headlights were bright, but soon the sun came through the trees. Around the next bend, the flowers will send the sweet smell of my home in the breeze. And home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings to fly over the mountain. Though I'm standing That was so wonderful. We have a number of prayers before us this day. First, a prayer and a word of greeting. I spent the last couple days in Vero Beach at the UCC congregation there for the Florida Conference meeting of the UCC congregations in the state. And that was the first time I'd gone as a minister in the Florida Conference. So that was wonderful. They send their greetings. All our conference leaders. We also, it was a wonderful time to hear about the work of the denomination and the other churches, to hear about our sibling congregations that are recovering from the hurricane and that are also doing really good work across the state. We passed 2 resolutions, and one in support and even more active support and vowing to work to support our trans siblings, and one a commitment to environmental justice and the reduction of the use of plastic. So it felt very much like home, right in tune with where we're at here at UCG. So that was lovely. We heard that Ron Nutter was in the hospital this week after a cardiac event. He is home now, thankfully. They did all the tests. He is recovering and enjoying resting up, being at home again. We keep Ron and Mary in our prayers. We pray, too, for Joyce Griffiths, who was in the hospital the week that we were at home, hurricane prepping. She is recovering from a significant stay, and they're still trying to figure out what exactly was going on, but her daughter-in-law is with her, and she's doing okay. She's a little weaker than she'd like, but keep Joyce in your prayers. We have prayers of celebration as well. One, a member of the church, a cancer patient who last winter had a very poor prognosis and for whom the congregation has prayed for over these many months, is now in full remission, which is a wonderful, wonderful gift, and she is very grateful for all of the prayers. Another prayer of celebration, Van Harmony had a long-awaited, much-anticipated surgery on Friday and still got here this morning, so no excuses to anyone ever again. And we celebrate with Van, even as he continues to recover. We also have a very sad news that Chuck Broward passed last night. Chuck, as you know, had been in the hospital for a number of weeks fighting an infection, and then had moved to rehab, and then contracted COVID and was back in the hospital, and was finally sprung, he said last week, back to Palm Gardens. And so this news comes as a surprise and a deep sadness. Will you join your hearts with mine in prayer? Our beginnings are in Eden, O God. Our genesis is in you. Open to us the gateways of your presence in life and the doors that lead us further into your mystery. In times of struggle and fear and the unknown, in times of grief and mourning, in times of celebration and relief and wholeness, may we know your expansive love and the mystery of your work. May we open our hearts to the ways in which your Spirit moves in us, assuring us of our own belonging and enabling us to welcome others home, to create safe spaces of love and courage and flourishing. So to awaken our memories of the garden and our beginnings, that we may find ourselves again in you, and that we may know rest and peace, even as we journey ever onward. Amen.
runaway pencil there. From the Gospel of Luke. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I tell you? I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my words, and acts on them. That one is like a man building a house who dug deeply and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood arose, the river burst against that house but could not shake it because it had been well built. But the one who hears and does not act is like the man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the river burst against it, immediately it fell, and great was the ruin of that house. I picked the scripture for this Sunday's service during our ministers' planning meeting in August. And this week, as I sat to collect the thoughts and the notes I had about this text over the last month or so, I realized that all of those metaphorical thoughts I had were a bit insufficient after the devastation of Hurricane Ian. In that context, with homes literally washed away in our state, this story resonates a bit differently. This text is a part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, as told by the writer of Luke. Among those present and named are the disciples, of course, many from coastal villages, fisher folk from Gennesaret on the Sea of Galilee, and also named as being present are those from Tyre and Sidon, which are right on the Mediterranean Sea. Jesus told parables using language that would resonate with the people he was talking to. And these people were those who understood what it meant to live waterfront. And as these people, I'm sure, knew then, and as we certainly know now, loss permeates communities quite differently. Most of the coverage I have seen of the destruction and the photo ops of recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian are of affluent neighborhoods and yachts stacked up along the coast. However, in more modest neighborhoods, those interviewed report that officials had not shown up yet to distribute food and water as they had in other districts. In a Reuters article, a family in the low-income, mainly African-American neighborhood of Dunbar, where the median income is $38,000, and nearly a quarter of the population lives below the poverty line, reported they have no insurance to cover the damage. It's simply too expensive, or insurance simply will not cover them. And then in Fort Myers, maybe you saw the story of Ali Velshi of the shrimpers, fisher folk. Quite literally the same as many of these people Jesus were speaking with are now both without a livelihood and a home, losing literally everything with the loss of their boats. This scripture, as I read it in this context, is a call to remember those without those rocks of wealth and insurance to lean on. And that we need to listen deeper and remember again that a just society is one that makes sure all have a solid foundation of support when water rises. Likewise, we need to listen to the earth as it is demanding rather forcefully for climate action, for this home that all living things share. Recovery must be done with justice and equity for all, including our planet. Now some metaphorical stuff. It makes sense that on this, our homecoming weekend, that we take time to consider what it means to be home. What is home? Is it the place you sleep and keep your stuff, as our kids reminded us? Is it your parents' house? a specific community? Is it a town or a natural landmark? Is it the people around you or a feeling deep in your soul? Well, it's all of these, of course. As Maya Angelou wrote, home is a place of safety and belonging. And I hope that you all have many such places. And I sincerely hope that when you list them, the United Church of Gainesville is counted among your homes. That each time you step on this campus, you have a sense of home coming. I've found in recent months that I've often said to people as they come through the doors after any time of absence, welcome home. And I mean that sincerely. This is, after all, a sanctuary, a literal place of safety and belonging by its very definition. I'm sure you remember the children's rhyme, here is the church, and here is the steeple. Open the doors and see all the people. Thank you, those who did that with me. I appreciate that. Your solidarity with me. I have such an affinity for children's literature. When done well, it speaks to the essence of truth and the human condition in a way I think we lose a bit in our advanced and deep academic readings. And this rhyme is no exception. The church is the people, but it's also the physical place of sanctuary that needs to be taken care of. It's that part that's not really all that inspiring to talk about. You know, we need roofs, and we need even bricks in the courtyard, and we need spaces ready to host guests, and we need lighting and internet and technology that helps keep us accessible. The list, as I know it does in your own homes, goes on and on. But if we want this physical space, our sanctuary of homecoming, to not be shaken or felled, to have a safe structure that's going to last the generations, we need to be caretakers of this deep foundation that has been laid for us. Jesus was the king of similes in storytelling, and this one is no exception. I'd like to think that similes in these cases allows each side of the comparison to have equal value. The comparison here is not diminishing the reality of dangerous floods or natural disasters, but is likening that feeling of loss and of trauma to being swept away due to a lack of foundation in body and in soul. What happens when home, literally or figuratively, is washed away? How can we find a balance again in self and in community? What I haven't mentioned yet about this text is that this passage is not only part of that sermon, but it's the conclusion. It's right at the end. It's after the blessings and the teachings that you may be familiar with. The Beatitudes, the blessed are yous. The do to others as you would have them do to you. After the do not judge and the practice forgiveness and be self-reflective. And then this line right before today's passage. It is out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks. Listen. Hear these blessings, these teachings, and entrench them. Dig them into the foundation of your soul, lest you be swept away when difficult times come. Build for yourself a foundation of blessings, of empathy, of compassion, and you will stand. But there are, after all, things that cannot be shaken with a foundation such as this. Neighbors helping neighbors. Those cooking vast quantities of food and boating supplies to cut off locations. Like a church full of people leading seminars and small groups and hosting those experiencing homelessness, declaring pride and welcome, making art and sharing it, and also making safe policies and procedures, praying and caring for each other, offering opportunities of learning and growing in justice, love, and faith. And of course, those blessed ones that help us find a way to try to afford it all. The foundation is dug deep here. And sometimes the roof is gonna leak and the fountain is gonna clog. But I believe our church will not be shaken by these things. I believe that our map looks probably a lot like this delightful one on our bulletin covers designed by Edo Carter. If you haven't looked carefully at it, this is the time. All roads and boats are leading toward home, toward a place where it is out of the abundance of our hearts that we speak and that we act. This home that we all contribute to make a safe place, a safe structure with safe systems and safe people, because only from a place of safety can we do future casting. Can we plot our map forward, the next piece of the art on our bulletins? Dan Siegel, who some might know, is a pioneer in the field of interpersonal neurobiology, which in a nutshell is a fascinating field that brings together all of the sciences and ways of knowing to help us understand the human experience. And Dan Siegel argues that it is a wrong and destructive belief that self is only located in our bodies. Instead, self is what is within us and what is between us. Self is a whole system. And in order to have a truly compassionate community, city, world, church that desires flourishing of self and of others and of this planet, we must take the definition of self from a singular noun to a plural verb. There's the internal self of me, and there's an external self of we. And I love the term he uses for this system. He says both are vital and important, and so it's a MWE. M-W-E, a MWE. According to the science of interpersonal neurobiology, in order to have a truly integrated, healthy experience of self, one that can give rise to compassion and to kindness, to empathy and to love, all of those actions that Jesus was hoping his words would elicit, is allowing oneself to be in a receptive state to the world around you. Just like Slug looking up at that big blue sky. In other words, we can't really be home without the whole system. A sense of self, safety within your own being, but also a sense of belonging and safety with others. Church is a MWE. And a functional church is a MWE that stands no matter what comes our way. A healthy community does not get swept away. It makes the decisions and takes the actions it needs so that it won't, literally and figuratively. We want the church, and we want the people inside. We can compromise on the steeple. And in the name of healthy community, I'd like to build some storm-stilling skills within ourselves today that promote flourishing. I'll invite you to come home to yourself, to your body, in this, our sacred home, surrounded by these sacred people, our sacred MWE. I asked Fernand's help to conclude this part of our service. And while she gets set up, we can practice. It's my, let's see.
this one on? Can I? Good. All right. Step out. Just for a moment, pick one hand, either one, place it on your chest, and the other one on your abdomen. And let's take 3 deep breaths. Now switch your hands. Let's do it again. How do you feel? You can talk back. Thank you. Thumbs up. Safety, peachy, comforting. One at peace. Most people find one hand feels more comforting on the top and on the bottom, so whichever felt more at home to you, I invite you to keep your hands there and to keep breathing as Nan leads us in this meditation. Welcome home. You are loved. You are safe. You are mui. Let us practice that together. You are home. You are loved. You are safe. Let's take this feeling to go until we meet again. Amen.